I just woke up like about 15 minutes ago. Back to the grind, bro. Still chasing this bag, you feel what I'm saying? Never giving up. No retreat, no surrender. Feel me? You know what I'm saying? But I was watching the video last night, and it kind of touched on the stuff that I've been saying for a while. About this guy who was 5 foot, I think it's 5'6". He was saying the same thing I was saying. He was like, nah, you can't afford to be fat. You can't afford to be poor, meaning broke and dusty. He said, you're already struggling in one part of life. You can't afford to struggle in all parts. You know. You can't have, basically he was saying you can't have a bunch of struggles going on. Let's say you struggle in height. You 5'4", 5'5", 5'6", or whatever. And that dude, he was real in that video. He was like, nah, you can't afford to be poor, bro. He was like, nah, you can't afford to be fat either for your height. So then you short and fat. You feel what I'm saying? What's up with it, Jamie? That dude on the video last night, he was talking some real spit, bro. He was saying the same thing I've been saying in my videos. I told you niggas that. I said you can't afford to be fat if you are lacking in height. You can't afford to be poor if you're lacking in height. He was 5'6", bro. He said, I'm 5'6", and hey, bro, that's 3 years, that's 3 inches up under me, man. That's a huge difference. There's a huge difference between 5'6" and 5'9". You feel what I'm saying? I'm closer to 6 foot than I am to 5'5". You feel what I'm saying? You know, hey man, it could have been worse. I could have been 5'6". The dude was saying that, he was saying in the video that, no, you can't afford to be poor. Nope, you can't, nope. He said he can't afford to be fat. You know what I'm saying? You can't afford to dress like a bum. Like only Chad and Tyrone could do that. I remember my Arabic Chad friend. He could dress in whatever. He would still get bitches, bro. He could dress like a bum and still get bitches. I was like, damn. One time he dressed in a wrinkled ass shirt and he still got a bitch, bro. Went out to the bar in a wrinkled ass shirt and still pulling hoes. You see, these dudes can get away with murder, bro. Literally, they can get away with anything. These Chads and Tyrones, they can dress like how, whatever. Because of their face, you know, in their youth, women let them get away with it. And their height. So yeah, like I said, man, I was watching a video of a guy, 5'6". He was like, nah, I'm 5'6". You know, can't afford to be poor. Can't afford to be fat. I can't be fat and 5'6". And that's what he was saying. He said, you're 5 foot. When you're like short, that short, man, he said, you're invisible to a lot of women, bro. You're invisible to most women. You know what I'm saying? Woo, man. Because I'm watching these short man videos and shit. You know, lately I've been watching the short man videos. You know, these dudes, these dudes are breaking it down, man. He was like, some guys even commit suicide being 5'4". And I'm like, damn, it's that serious? Yeah, it's that fucking serious, bro. They even go to the rope. You know, I heard about, you know, dudes doing that, man, because they so short and they can't get a woman. You know, they've been picked on, they've been laughed at, you know, their whole entire life, and they turn to the rope, what they said, right? You know, like, God damn, is that serious, man? Yeah, it's that serious, dudes. Take procreation really seriously nowadays, man. Or anytime. Anytime in history, you know, dudes take procreation real seriously. You know, they want to procreate so bad that they willing to rope themselves because they're not able to do it. I heard on one of them incel channels a while back. I told you, some dude who was 5'4", he actually went out and committed suicide, or let me say, he deleted himself because he was 5'4". You know what I'm saying? I'm like, God damn, it's real. That shit is real, bro. Like, the heightism is real. When you 5'4", you're invisible to all women, bro. That's why I say when what's his name said he got some, I'm like, oh, that nigga lying, bro. A 5'4" guy in a highly competitive date market, bro, you are lying. Man. You feel what I'm saying? You dudes be lying like a motherfucker. A lot to kick it. I got a lot to kick it, bro. I got a lie to kick it. I'm gonna kick it with you motherfuckers, but I got a lie. I swear, I got a lie. Like, bro, you are doomed from forever, man. If you don't get no bread, you can't afford to be broke. Now I understand what Kevin Hart was going through, bro. But he made it out of that shit. Kevin Hart was like, oh no, I'm not about to be poor for the rest of my life. I'm not about to be 5'4" and short. You know, I'm not about to be this. I'm gonna get some money. Yeah, that's why I'm gonna get some money. Yeah, no. You know. Fuck all that, bro. I struggle too because of my height, you know. I'm not that tall, bro. I'm average height. And at average height, you can still get a girl. You know, you're gonna have a whole lot of you guys are noisy. You know, you guys are, you're gonna have a whole lot of rejection, you know, but also you're gonna have a whole lot of success from the shorty pantsies. That's why I say I do better with shorty pantsies. Women who are 5'2" and shit. Like Boobs, she's 5'2". You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna have a lot more success with her than women that are taller. You know what I'm saying? You know. You know. No, but he was saying the same thing I was saying. He was saying, yeah, You can't afford to be poor. You can't afford to be fat. And I was like, hey, that's the same thing I was saying to you motherfuckers. I've been saying that shit to you motherfuckers. You can't afford to be fat when you're lacking in certain areas. You're lacking in looks, you can't afford to be poor. Yeah. If you sub 5, you can't afford to be poor. Nah. Not by a long shot. That's why you see so many like sub 5 dudes in Hollywood, bro. And you got Chaz too in Hollywood too, man. But there's a lot of sub 5 dudes that gravitate toward Hollywood to get status and money. Yeah, I was watching that video. I was like, man, he's saying the same shit that I've been saying, bro. You know what I'm saying? No, if you lacking in height, you can't afford to be poor. Like me, I'm 5'9". I can afford to be poor if I'm ripped and aesthetic. You know, I do better with women when I'm ripped. That's why I'm on this diet right now. And yeah, so I've been watching a lot of them videos lately, man. Like some of the videos that are self-improvement Max or Gym Max, and all these guys they're maxing out their potential just so they can get a woman, man. Just so they can attract women. A lot of dudes are getting jawline surgery. A lot of dudes are getting height surgery, all just so they can get a female. Dudes that are like 5'4", they're getting leg lengthening surgery so they can get a woman, bro. Just so they won't be laughed at their whole entire life, bro. They say, fuck this shit, bro. I'm not about to get bullied and get rejected my whole entire life. I'm gonna raise my height up. That's why I was saying, like 5'4", ball guy, man, short ball guy, bro. You gotta do something. I mean, something drastically has to change in your life in order for women to come into it. Because I'm afraid that, just like Rocky V, I'm afraid, you know, something drastically has to change, man. You feel what I'm saying? You know, for him to escape that type of situation that he's in, where he can't get a woman, something drastically has to change. His height and his money and his status. That has to change, bro. And he been lying to me, he got his shit together and he ain't hurting for money. And I'm like, well, bro, you're not making enough money. You need status too on top of that. You know, yeah, exactly. He needs to self-improve, bro, or he gonna be done. Just like that dude on the video, man. He was saying, no, you can't afford to be broke if you're 5'6", because he was 5'6". He said, I can't afford to be broke. Can't afford to be poor. Nope. You can't be struggling in your finances when you're that short. 5'6" is 3 inches under me, bro. 3 inches under me. That's a huge difference. 3 inches. Okay? That's like between me and 6 foot. 6 foot is a huge difference between 5'9", okay? Even though it's just only 3 inches, it's still a huge difference. You know, females notice the difference. If you put a 6-footer by me, noticeably he gonna be 3 inches taller than me. He gonna be taller. You feel what I'm saying? So a guy that's 5'6", whoa, man, that dude broke it down in the video, man. Like I've been telling you motherfuckers for a long time. I said, man, if you're struggling in one area, you can't be struggling in all the areas, bro. You're already struggling, you know, in the height area. You feel me? You can't be struggling and the finances too. That's what makes this. That's what's gonna make you a straight up incel, man. You know, by not getting your money on, bro, you doing this to yourself, basically, man. You know what I'm saying? You know. You know. You know. It's, you know, yeah, going overseas is okay, but I'm talking about in America, man. If you want to stay here in America, you got to get your bread up, man. You gotta, man. If you lacking in certain areas, you can't afford to lack. Like, look, I can't afford to like drink a bunch of beer and blow up. You know, for my height, bro. I seen the way females treated me when I was fat and out of shape back in 2017, bro. Like, they did not treat me well. I didn't even get any dates. I was totally black-pilled, incel. Whatever word you wanna put out there, I was that. Because I was fat. I had fat all over my face, bro. You feel what I'm saying? Well, man, I was getting treated horribly, blood. I was getting ran away from. I was getting reported to Uber and Lyft for trying to talk to a girl, you know, in the Uber and Lyft. You know what I'm saying? It was horrible, bro, to be that fat. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm always working out. Even if I'm eating junk or whatever, I'm still working out. I'm not gonna get to be a fatso. I might put on a little bit of weight, but working out, you're not gonna get like super sumo size fat. You feel what I'm saying? Like I was before, when I wasn't working out. So like, yeah, dude was putting it, man, he was putting it down. He said, man, you can't afford to be poor. The video I was watching last night, he said, you can't afford to be poor. You can't afford, as 5'6", yeah, you can't afford to be lacking in the finances, bro. You're gonna be struggling in the dating market, bro. You feel what I'm saying? You know, there's this guy in here, man. He's around 5'6", 5'5", I think, and he's invisible to women. This is one other guy too. He's an older guy, maybe like in his 50s or something, and he hella fat, especially around the waist and around the legs and stuff. Like, he's like a motherfucking, I mean, bruh, he's invisible to women. Okay? To all women, bro. He's an incel for sure. Around the buttocks, no homo. And around the legs, bro, he's all fat. I mean, bro, he's big. He takes up 2 seats over there in there, bro. That's how big he is. No lie. No, he literally takes up 2 seats in there. He better been, you know, lean when he was young and had children. I doubt that, man. He's done for it. Yeah, he's already finished. He's already in his 50s and shit. I could tell. He older than me. But he's invisible. Completely invisible to all women. I don't see them saying hi to him like they do to me. Like, I was sitting there and that tall black girl, the half black, half white girl, the black girl, she walked by and said, bye. She walked by, bye, Kel. She said that to me, right? And she walked by him and he was invisible. She walked out the door. When she passed him up, bro, she didn't say nothing. I said, oh, damn, bro, you are invisible. You are invisible to women, bro. As fat as you are, bro, nobody's fucking with you, bro. You feel me? Damn. But that dude is huge. I feel sorry for some of the guys who are invisible to all women. I really do, because that's a horrible life to live, just to be invisible. That's why I say, You can't afford to be poor if you're lacking in the looks area. That's what that one guy was saying on the video last night. He said he can't afford to be poor. He can't afford to be fat or nothing like that. He was putting it down, man. He really was putting that shit down. And I was like, yeah, he true. He putting that, yeah, he right. That motherfucker right, bro. You can't afford to be like that, man. That's why I'm on the diet, man, right now, man, because I want to attract as much women as I possibly can. You know, like at this point in my life. You know, I don't want to be old and alone, bro. That's what's going to happen. You know, you keep on putting on the pounds, or if you keep on not being, you know, hungry for success, if you don't get your success on, if you don't get your bag on, you're going to struggle for the rest of your life, bro. Now, right now, I'm working on becoming 10% body fat. You feel what I'm saying? I don't want no fat on my face. 0 fat. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm fasting. We're not going to eat nothing until like 2 o'clock today. Yesterday, I didn't eat nothing until like 2:30. And we're having pho today again. I didn't have it yesterday, but we're going to have pho again today. You know, because that's healthy. That's considered healthy, you know. But, bro, you can't be invisible like that to all women. You are doomed, bro. Like that, bro. You just can't. Just like that dude said in the video, you can't afford to be broke at 5'6". You can't afford to be, you know, you can't afford to be fat. That's what he was saying. He said he worked out. He gym maxed so hard. You know what I'm saying? And then he started having a little bit of luck, you know, with women. You know, because he's 5'6". He ain't 5'4", like short ball guy lying ass. But he said 5'6", and he had to max out everything. Max out his clothes. He had to max out the gym. He had to money max. He had to do all of that, bro. That means he had to go out and at least get an education and get a really good job. You know what I'm saying? Or he had to go to Hollywood and become an actor or something. Or he had to do something. He had to do something. Because he was going to spend the rest of his life in that situation. Just like that guy, that, you know, 27-year guy, you know. He didn't do nothing his whole entire life, bro. And he stayed in that situation for life, man. For 27 years, he stayed in that situation, bro. You know, he said he been single for 27 years. Damn, bro. Damn, bro. At the same time, I don't feel sorry for you, because you could have got something up and going. You could have accomplished so many things in that time. Matter of fact, you've been out of that shit in the early 2000s, bro. You say you've been single for 27 years. If you go back to 27 years, that's around when Tupac got killed. So you've been single since the 90s, and you didn't do nothing about it? Yeah. If you would have like chased after money, or at least an education, you know, the school bag, right? If you would have got the school bag, at least you would have not been in that situation. You probably would have lucked up on a single mom. You see what I'm saying? At least get that, you know. But you didn't get none of that shit, bro. You kind of did nothing your whole entire life, man. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really feel sorry for you, man. You know, you got to go after the bag. What can I say? If you don't, you're done for. You know. You don't. If you don't, you're done. That's all I can say, man. You feel what I'm saying? Just like the dude in the video. If you just got in here, I was watching a video last night, and this dude, he was 5'6". He made a video last night, and he was touching on some of the things that I said in my past videos. He was touching on some of the things that I said in my past videos. What did I say? I said you can't afford to be lacking in all areas if you're lacking in one area. He said, man, at 5'6", no, you can't afford to be poor. You can't afford to be fat. You know what I'm saying? You gotta work out. You gotta work harder than the Chads and the Tyrones that are 6 foot plus. You gotta work harder than them. You know what I'm saying? You gotta put in more work. I thought in my head, I said, hey, I've been saying this shit to these niggas for like years. I said, man, you can't afford to be like that. That's why you think I stopped drinking beer, bro? It's not worth my fucking face blowing up to hell, bro. You know what I'm saying? Why you think I'm getting back on the diet so I can maximize my full potential, man, of getting young females to have babies with in the future? You feel what I'm saying? I've been thinking about having babies with a woman, man. In fact, that's why I'm lowering the body fat percentage, because I really want this to happen. Last night I was watching Lord Wojak. He's like an incel cartoon. You guys probably seen the cartoons with Wojak as an incel. You know, that can't get a woman and shit. And there was this video saying Wojak tries looks maxing or whatever. And he went out, he got the jawline fixed, had jaw surgery. He even got height surgery. You feel what I'm saying? He did both jaw and height surgery, you know. And he even he worked out, okay? And he was just saying, like, I'll do anything to like improve my dating life. You know, he had a crush on a special girl that he thought was special. You know, and he said, I'll do anything for her, man. I'll do anything. I'll looks max. I'll do anything. He went out and did all that stuff. But then it turned, I don't know why this guy, the writer of this story was horrible, man, because then he did all that stuff, and then he met the girl, and the girl didn't recognize him at first. And then she recognized him after a while, after he said his name. And then she was like, I gotta, you know, you don't look the same. I don't like you. I liked you before. Like, that's bullshit, bro. When he was sub-5 and you was a Stacy, you liked him before. That's why I'm like, okay, that's a dumbass story. But my main thing is that he went out and he looks maxed just so he can get a woman, bro. Like, you gotta take that in consideration, man. Like, looks maxing just so you can get a female, it's important. Feel what I'm saying? You know.
Security of being monitored, recorded, but some trespassing or loitering on property. If you do not belong here, you need to leave this area immediately, otherwise I will call the police number. Again, this is on the security of being monitored, recorded, but some trespassing or loitering on this property. If you do not belong here, you need to leave this area immediately, otherwise I will call the police number.
Nah, fuck you. I'll stay here whenever I want to. Matter of fact, I'll stand over here by the Starbucks. They can't call the police on me there, because it's not their property. Like, nah, man, I'm standing over here. It's not your property, bitch. Fuck you. Fuck you, hoe. Yeah. Now, you can't call the cops down. Fuck you. All right, so I'm back. Fucking bitch. Man, I'm trespassing, man. This is a open spot, bro. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so I'm over here. So I'm off that little property. But anyway, yeah, you can't afford to be none of that, bro. Like, you already lacking in height. You can't afford to lack in like all the other areas. You feel what I'm saying, of your life? This is serious, man. You know. You know. You know what I'm saying? So, what you talking about, man? I've been calling females hoes, even when I was out there dating. Matter of fact, I can't have a woman right now. Hey, Boobs, she was checking me out yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, fuck you. Fuck you. Let's tell a motherfucker, fuck you. I'm right over here on Starbucks. You feel what I'm saying? You feel what I'm saying? So, hey, like I said, bro, you can't afford to even make any. You can't afford to struggle in all areas. That's what I'm trying to say. Just like that one guy, man. He really got me hyped up. he's like 5'6". You can't afford to be poor. You can't afford to be this. You can't afford to be that. He was spitting some real talk, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know. I've been calling bitches and hoes, man. What you talking about? Even when I was out there active dating and shit. Not in front of their face though, but you know, I came up in the Snoop Dogg area, you feel me? And Dr. Dre area. Dun, 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 dun. Really got the feeling. And now you hookers and hoes know how I feel. But if it's good enough to giving me a pop a chunk, I take a small piece of some of that funky stuff. It's like this and like that and like this and it's like this and like that and like this and it's like this and like that and like this and Dre creep to the mic like a phantom. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, fuck all that, bro. Like, you know, fuck you. Yeah, so like I said, man, back to before I was interrupted by that speaker thing or whatever that shit is. I'm over here at Starbucks now, bitch. Fuck you. So, you know, yeah, you feel what I'm saying? Yeah, fuck these hoes, man. Get him out of here. I'll get him out of here, or whatever that is. Get the fuck out of here, bitch. How you gonna come in here and tell me what the fuck to do in my shit? Fuck out of here. Ah, man, don't come around here talking shit, man. Telling me what I should do and what I could do, whatever. Got his ass out of there. Okay, back to what I was saying, bro. Like that 5'6" guy, he was breaking the real shit down, bro. You know what I'm saying? He was talking about how you can't afford to be broke and how you can't afford to be, you just can't. You feel what I'm saying? You can't lack in all areas, bro. He's putting that, and that kind of like thought. I mean that made me think like about myself and also everything else, man. You know what I'm saying? That goes for me too. Can't be like 5'9" and be fat at the same time. You feel what I'm saying? There's a lot of struggles, you know, that you got going on. And that's the reason why you're having problems. You feel me? He was putting that real game down. You know what I'm saying? You know. You know, like me, I've been fasting for the last 2 days. And I've already lost a few pounds already just because I haven't been really eating much. I've been eating enough, just enough. See, I had 2 meals yesterday. One with a bunch of carbs and then one without carbs. You know, you need the carbs in the daytime. I'm just gonna stop eating carbs at night. Feel what I'm saying? You know, I'm just gonna stop eating carbs at night. No carbs at night. No carbs for dinner. I'm changing everything, man. No more of that. That was my biggest problem, eating like carbs, like a lot of carbs before dinner. I don't care if you worked out the earlier that day, you're still gonna put on fat, especially being older and stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? You know. So yeah. I don't know, for some reason I've been clicking on like short man videos. Cause I guess because of short ball guy, I've been watching those videos. But yeah, man, a lot of guys saying that he can't afford to be overweight, can't afford to be broke, can't afford to be none of that shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know. You know. Yeah, no carbs for dinner. Yeah, exactly, man. Because I'm trying to keep my weight up under control. And I'm doing the same thing that, you know, what they saying, you know, looks max, you know. Yeah, so right now I'm leaning up, bro. Like I don't know, man. Sometimes I get distracted. You know, I don't know why I started drinking beer again, knowing that beer is so fattening. You know, I don't even want like the lean beer or the light beer. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I can't afford to be fat either, man. And I'm 5'9". I can't afford to be just chunky and shit, bro. Anyway, man, I'm gonna get up in here in the Starbucks. It's cold out here anyway. That's where I was at first, Starbucks. Yeah, this is Starbucks property, so they can't say nothing over here, man. You guys have a good day, man. I'm gonna get in here, man. It's just certain dudes are born with like certain gifts and stuff, man. If you were born a Chad or a Tyrone, congratulations, you have hit the genetic lottery, bro. You guys have a good day. I'm out. I'll be back on later.